Max Kellerman.
Yep.
Is this a big deal or no big deal for the Vikings?
It's a huge deal. It's a max deal. It's as big as it can be. Of course it's a big deal. And like you called me a prisoner of the moment because you look at week one and you wouldn't think Detroit or Buffalo would have wins against the likes of Minnesota and New England by week three, but that's the nature of the NFL. But it's a huge deal because the Vikings have everything. Stephen A., you're getting on the Mahomes, on the people who are on the Mahomes bandwagon because look at all the weapons. Look at all the weapons in Minnesota on offense alone. Look at the receiving core, the guys they got who can run the ball, the whole thing. And then the offensive line's been up and down, but actually down and up. It was down 2 years ago, up last year. On defense, look at what they have. The Vikings are so loaded that they thought, Case Keenum was a fringy MVP candidate last year. Won a playoff game with a miracle throw at the end, advanced in the playoffs. But we think Kirk Cousins is just better. We think he's better to the tune of $60 million additional guaranteed dollars. And then you lose to a team that has been a hot mess so far. And by the way, you know what you got coming up in consecutive weeks now? You got the best team in football, my preseason Super Bowl pick, the Los Angeles Rams. And then you got an Eagles team.
I thought of you during that game yesterday.
With a Carson Wentz who's going to have now 2 games under his belt heading into that game. And a team that should be getting healthier. This is a huge deal for the Minnesota Vikings.
It's a huge deal, but not for the reasons that you think. Kirk Cousins is $84 million, $28 million per year over the next 3 years guaranteed. We understand that that's a huge sum of money, particularly when you consider what they had in Case Keenum. But Case Keenum is considered limited compared to Kirk Cousins. Case Keenum seemed to have a breakout year last year, but it wasn't consistent with the kind of resume that he had, and we know how much I pay attention to resumes. We understand all of that. But here's the reason why you should be most concerned about the Vikings, and it has nothing to do with Kirk Cousins, because he wasn't there last year when they gave up about 62 points in the last 6 quarters, considering their divisional playoff game against the New Orleans Saints, and then after that, the NFC Championship game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Gave up about 62 points over the last 6 quarters. Now, this was an elite defense until it really, really counted, and then the defense couldn't be found. So we have that. And then now you come into this season, and they show up and they get ramrodded by the Buffalo Bills and a rookie quarterback in Josh Allen. Now, when you look at it from that perspective, not to mention the fact they weren't protecting Kirk Cousins all day long. So when you look at it from that perspective, you know what? Teams expose who they really, really are when they fail to put their foot on the throats of an inferior foe. And that's what happened to the Minnesota Vikings yesterday. You know what happened with the Minnesota Vikings yesterday? They showed they're not that good. They showed that their mental makeup ain't what it's supposed to be. This is supposedly a Super Bowl contender. Maybe we ballyhooed about them a little bit too much. Maybe we gave them too much props than they deserve. Because let me tell you something about Kirk Cousins. As anemic and pathetic as they were offensively yesterday, Kirk Cousins has had that happen. It is consistent with who Kirk Cousins is. He'll put up good numbers one week. He'll find a way to lose a game the next week. He'll always get his numbers, but little does he do in the way of victories per se. Big moments might not come up or whatever. Yes, there's a reason why he wasn't drafted in the first round. There's a reason why he was behind RG3 initially. In the end, what it comes down to is that Kirk Cousins is Kirk Cousins. We had faith in the Vikings because they were supposed to be something different, made up of something different collectively.
Last year they were.
That wasn't.
But the point
I just said last year, the last 6 quarters of last year. I brought that up too.
Okay, but the Vikings were already totally excellent and loaded, and many people's preseason pick to win the Super Bowl, and the thought was they upgraded at quarterback, and they just lost to a team against whom they were 16.5-point favorites.
All right, what does that tell you?
They didn't have Dalvin Cook. I know I keep bringing up injuries.
They didn't have him last year. I mean,
I know, but I'm still. He made a difference the weeks before.
What it tells me is the Vikings. That's a trap game, I understand. But the Vikings, as I've been saying all along, made a mistake when they thought that Kirk Cousins, because they were at this pivotal moment in their history where they could pay a premium because the marginal utility gain by going for Kirk Cousins is worth $60 million guaranteed dollars over Case Keenum. No, I disagree. I don't know that Kirk Cousins is better than Case Keenum.
I do want to say this, though. We've seen every rookie quarterback now, which is interesting. Week 3, back in the day, used to sit behind someone for 3 years before you'd have a sighting.